What's going on, guys? Another episode of Second Floor Sports coming in. Waiting for Matias to get in here. Lots to break down. Got approximately 1,700 NBA games to go over, which is such a welcome relief. Got some baseball to talk about. Got some college sport to talk about. If you saw Matias's interview with Frank Rossi, we'll be talking a little bit about that. Got our mailbag to get to, of course. Just waiting for Matias to show up. Hello. There he is. There's the man.
I'm here. I brought two viewers along with me too. Now three.
Oh,
I don't mean to brag, but we have 4 viewers right now.
Jack Powers, I gotta give the man his credit. Educated me on something online today. It was pretty impressive.
What was that?
I guess I missed some like TikTok reference in one of his tweets, and he explained it to me. So Jack, thank you for keeping me culturally aware, I guess.
I have some beef with Jack. I'm not going to lie. Because
air it out. He's right there. I know he's listening.
There was a chart released by ESPN on the hottest shooters of each zone. Take a wild guess who released it. Your main man. PJ Tucker.
MF Goldsberry, the king.
Yeah. Awesome. Love his graphics. PJ Tucker. Best corner shooter in the league, obviously, but he was only there in one corner. Jack Powers did not acknowledge the fact that Patty Trills himself was in the other corner. Just no acknowledgement whatsoever.
So how do you settle that? Who's the best corner three-point shooter in the league?
It's obviously Patty Mills.
That is a you and Jack issue. I'm going to leave that one to you guys.
I don't really want to discuss who the
two corners. Interesting point. Okay.
He was in both. All right, let's we kick this off.
All righty. Second Floor Sports, Ben Carlton, Matias Weilmann, getting a little more consistent with it. You know, we're trying to make this work a little bit more like we used to all the way back almost 3 years ago now.
Yeah, that was a mess though. I don't think we ever did a show that we weren't completely hungover for.
Yeah, we did.
We're
absolutely bapping right now. We did every show.
No, yeah, every show the first semester we did. The second semester
was a different story.
Yeah, that show when we had it on Sundays was a mess.
No, Nolan, there's not a Second Floor Sports bubble. I mean, there kind of is. We're not. Yeah.
No, how would there be a bubble? We're not together.
I don't know.
Then there's clearly no bubble. I got cheese behind me, and you have plain white wall.
I got my name on a piece of wood. Nolan knows what that is. Nolan knows all about that.
Camp stuff.
Oh, yeah.
All right. We're going to start our talking everything. NBA playoffs. Rough week for the MLB. NBA lottery was yesterday. We'll start with the NBA playoffs. Probably the most exciting series. Nets-Raptors. No, we're starting with this just so we can get it out of the way.
Just so we could get it out of the way. I mean, if the Nets take a game off them, I'd be pretty surprised.
I had picked 2 sweeps in the first round. They were Bucks and Raptors. Obviously, Bucks will not sweep the Magic because they lost game 1. But I thought the Raptors were going to sweep the Nets.
The Nets minus like their entire starting 5, basically.
Yeah, no. I mean,
you're playing Chris Chiozza meaningful minutes in the playoffs. Like, you're not.
And TLC.
Oh my God.
Tyler Johnson had a good game today. He had like 25 points in the third quarter. The only problem was they lost by like 25.
The only issue with his performance there.
Yeah, you're usually not going to do too well. You're not going to do too well if Luau Cabarro is your starting power.
Is that how you pronounce it?
Yeah.
I'm not even going to attempt.
Yeah. Don't try to attempt.
I mean, what is there to say about Nets?
There's not much to say. I mean, I saw Siakam play today. It was fantastic. Obviously, the fact that the Nets don't have anyone is pretty rough for them. I think the Nets close it out.
I mean, Karis LeVert's been balling.
Yeah, he has. Karis LeVert is really good. That's going to be an interesting trio with Kyrie and KD. Keep forgetting that Kyrie and KD are going to play for the Nets next year.
Oh, literally. It's like I'm like sitting there. I'm like, oh yeah, well, of course the Nets are getting smoked. And then I I'll be like watching. Honestly, I've watched all of like probably like maybe a quarter of the Nets Raptors series. It's like they'll like cut to like a shot with some like KD highlights or Kyrie highlights. Be like, oh, next year. And I'm like, wait, like right. Yeah. The Nets have like 2 of the top 15 players in the league just not playing.
Well, I had forgotten the whole time, and then I remembered because. Yeah, I saw highlights from earlier this season that they were just like advertising. It wasn't season tickets because probably not going to have fans. But it was just like a random Nets advertisement. And Iron Eagles calls were just over Kyrie Irving, like step back, like long twos. And I was like, wait, shit, like Kyrie Irving played for them this year. Like it's been a long season, dude.
What does that say about whose city it is?
No, it's not even that. It's been such a long season. Like,
yeah.
Remember the whole fiasco with the Cavs head coaching staff?
Oh my God,
calling them thugs. That was this season. That was in March. Like, or no, I think it was in February.
No, yeah, that might have been like January. I feel like that was right around the New Year.
It might have been. Either way,
I don't know. A long damn time ago.
Long ass season.
All right, I'm done talking Raptors.
You got anything else on Nets Raptors?
All right. Sixers Celtics. Okay. Before the Ben Simmons injury, this was on my radar as probably one of the better first round series to watch.
Yep.
I think both teams have a really cool mix of like elite level, all-star level talent, but also some pretty solid depth. The Sixers not as much as the Celtics, but this had all the makings of a really exciting series, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. Ben Simmons goes down. I'm like, all right, well, the Celtics are probably going to take the series now. I mean, obviously Ben Simmons is a huge piece for the Sixers. We'll talk about his fit in a little bit here. But then after game one, and you see how lost the Sixers look without Ben Simmons. Yeah. I mean, the series has rapidly become, like on the same tier as Nets Raptors. Like it's just, what does Philly have to do to even take a game off Boston right now? I mean, obviously you need Embiid to cook, but Embiid had a great game last game. What, like 36 and 12 or something?
It doesn't matter.
Philly had a very good game.
Ben, let me read you one stat that can tell you why the Sixers are just getting cooked in back-to-back games. It is because I'm reading it off my screen right now. You have Jason Tatum averaging 32.5 points per game. He's shooting 10 of 17 from three-point land.
That's pretty good.
That's pretty good, right?
I talked to Kirk Goldsberry about that the other day, and he said it was pretty good.
Then
it was like one of like the red hexagons,
Yeah, that's for sure a red hexagon. Then you have the Sixers. They've made 14 threes, right?
That's not great.
29% from beyond the arc.
Which honestly is not like it's not good, but it's not god awful.
Shooting 30% from a team is not good.
And
I'll explain.
Like 33,
and I'll explain why it's worse in a second. Then you go through each individual player. Embiid's 1 for 6. Tobias Harris is 0 for 5.
That Tobias Harris contract is looking
yikes,
miserable. Oh my God.
And then Josh Richardson is 5 for 12. Now look, this is the thing about the 76ers, right? You lose Ben Simmons.
Well, 5 for 12 is perfectly serviceable.
Yeah, but that's still you don't want your top 3-point shooter. Yeah, and it's Josh Richardson, right? Like he's running some.
Well, they brought him in to kind of be the JJ Redick replacement. Obviously, you're not going to replace.
Yeah, but he's your starting
JJ
point
Redick
guard. He's a starting point guard. He takes up a lot of the playmaking abilities now that Ben Simmons is gone.
Yeah.
What I want to get to with the Ben Simmons, with him being injured and obviously not playing for the rest of the season, what you're going to lose on defense, right? Ben Simmons is first or second team all defensive probably from here on out in his career.
Yeah.
One of the best defensive players in the league. And the thing is, obviously he's huge.
One of the best and one of the most unique, period.
Yeah. Because he can defend 1 through 4 easily.
He can defend 1 through 5. I mean, he's quick enough in terms of like guarding centers that he'll just give them fits with his quick hands and his anticipation.
There's no other point guard I'd rather be defending a center on a pick and roll. Right?
Honestly, do you really call Ben Simmons a point guard?
But he plays point guard. Anyway. So what you're missing defensively, right? So there's some of the things you expect, especially against a team like Boston, who their scoring threats are, Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown. Those are 2 small forwards.
Kemba Walker.
Yeah, I know, but Kemba Walker, more traditional point guard, has the size for it. Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum provide,
This was like 20 minutes ago. Apparently Tatum is like 6'10" now.
When did he grow?
I think it was sideline sources. I take sideline sources on Instagram with a grain of salt, but they're generally like pretty on top of it. Mm-hmm. Apparently Brad Stevens said that Jason Tatum is 6'10" now.
Interesting. Okay.
I mean, he came into the league at 18. It's very possible he continued to grow.
Fair enough. Anyways, finishing my point. When you lose Ben Simmons on offense, right? And Brett Brown said this himself. And, this is one of the reasons I don't think he makes it into next season. Or if he does, he's the head coach on the hottest seat right now. But here's the thing. he even said himself, you gain some more clarity when you lose Ben Simmons in that offense because you know you're going to play through Joel Embiid, kick and, drive and kick, right? Everything goes through Joel Embiid in the post. You kick out to your three-point shooters, and they have good three-point shooters, right? Theoretically.
On paper, yeah, on paper. Tobias Harris is like shitting the bed. Tobias Harris is a good player.
Tobias Harris is averaging as many
max
points.
Or is he on just under a max?
He's making $36 million a year. He signed a max.
I think, yeah, it's a max.
It's a problem when, some guy that's making $36 million a year is putting up as many points per game as TJ Warren. That's
Who
not
apparently
good.
is not the best player in the NBA anymore. We'll talk about that later. Right? That was
unfortunate.
Mind-blowing to realize that maybe TJ Warren was just hot for a couple games. But
I mean, look, it is so disappointing for the Philly offense that they can't get anything going, right? Defensively, people were looking at this team and being like, this is like the early 2000s Pistons. Like, they have the length and they have the size.
Were people saying that? That seems like a
Kevin O'Connor before the season said this team has the possibility. He wasn't comparing them. He said they have the possibility, they have the versatility, and they have the switchability to be like the early 2000s Pistons. The problem is you can't
sky high compare. I mean, we're talking about that's like one of the best defensive teams.
But look at it on paper. I mean, you have Ben Simmons, Josh Richardson, Tobias Harris, who's not a great defender, Al Horford, and then Joel Embiid. Those are all really good defenders. Like this is a team.
I mean,
this is a team that should not be allowing more than 95 points a game.
I think the issue with comparing the Sixers to the early 2000s Pistons is the early 2000s Pistons were built perfectly for that style of the NBA.
I agree.
Arguably, the Sixers could not be built worse for today's style of NBA basketball.
Not defensively. I mean, think about
defensively they're good, but look at so you want who are the Sixers' best? Al Horford, outside of like Embiid and Simmons. Mm-hmm. You want Al Horford to contribute defensively. He's a very smart defender.
Horford's a solid post defender. I mean, think about all the struggles that Embiid had.
You want Harris on the floor defensively.
No, but think about this too. Harris and Simmons are at least interchangeable, and at least Harris has enough lateral speed to keep up with shooting guards.
I think there's a difference between switchability and interchangeability versus just like redundancy and overlap. The Sixers' four best players,
you kind of want that on defense, though.
On defense, but what happens when your offense is just atrocious?
You think about
you can't get by in the NBA today with an offense as bad as we've seen the Sixers' offense be.
Well, that's the problem is that offensively they have so many players that occupy the same spot, and you would have thought. And look, I'm on paper. Like, I thought the Sixers were going to be a top 3 seed in the East because I'm like, look, Al Horford could fit in well. And,
top 3 seed with the caveat that they need to figure out their offense. We're talking.
Yeah, but I thought they'd figure out their offense because Al Horford is a good mid-range shooter. He can kind of fill in the spots, and I didn't think he was going to have a good season.
Did figuring out their offense mean Ben Simmons figuring out how to shoot?
Well, that certainly would have been a plus. But, you think about if Tobias Harris is, like, aggressive as a ball handler, and you have drive and kicks that he's actually capable of performing, and he's at least just like a middle of the pack defender, that's a good team.
It gets right back into the whole. The single biggest issue with the Sixers is that what do you do with Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid? You can't. Mm-hmm. Ben Simmons is useless off ball, truly and utterly useless, especially when you're pairing him with a Joel Embiid and then an Al Horford and Tobias Harris, who's really kind of like a stretch 4. I mean. I think Ben Simmons is gone. I think that the decisions.
You think this is it? You think he's played his last game as a Sixer?
I think so. I mean, how many years are you going to give the guy to figure out a jumper?
I don't think so. I think
it's pretty clear you need to get rid of one of Embiid or Ben Simmons. They don't work together. They literally do not work together.
See, I think if the Sixers had there was no shot they were beating Boston in the first round. Without Simmons.
Without Simmons, yeah.
Yeah, I think if they take 2 games off of Boston and they show, some promise, then you're like, okay, we have more clarity on offense. We need to, trade away
but you're living in fantasy land here. You got to look at what the Sixers are doing currently, which is getting smoked, and Ben Simmons is hurt again. Ben Simmons still can't shoot. Here we are. This is what the third year we've been looking at Philly as like a legit top 4 team in the East.
I think at this point, I read a scathing response to the Sixers getting blown out in Game 2 and just absolutely just demolished. Right, there was no way around it. The Celtics outplayed them in every spot. And I mean, the worst part is you look at that matchup and you're like, okay, maybe we don't match up so well in their like backcourt and in their forwards, but at least like, yeah, Daniel Tice and like Enes Kanter defending Joel Embiid, like that should be baby food right there. And instead, like nothing else is working, man. And like, I think at this point,
all right, like you take Elton Brand's job here. Who do you take? I think it's been made perfectly clear that you have to pick between Ben Simmons or Joel Embiid to build your team. For the GM, who are you taking?
I think you start next season with them with a different head coach. And I don't think that's the solution. But I mean, look at
you're still dodging the question here, bud.
What? You asked me who I
Yes, I'm asking who you would take.
I stay with Embiid. Stay with Embiid. But I still think you start next season with both of them there. I think you look at what the Raptors did, right? When they brought in Nick Nurse. Like, Dwayne Casey was a good coach with the Raptors, multiple-time coach of the year. And I was wrong. I was like, don't fire him. Like, he's a good coach. Figure it out. I was wrong. I was very wrong. Sometimes just a head coach, regardless of how good it is, you got to make some switches. Like we see that in soccer all the time. I think that's the case.
You run your course. I think Brett Brown has done everything he possibly could to kind of figure out and unlock the Sixers here.
That's my problem. Sometimes their offense is just so lost and they just have no direction on it.
Exactly.
And I think that's an indictment on Brett Brown. I don't think Brett Brown has done a very good job.
I think it's an indictment on Brett Brown. I think it also is what happens when your two best players are non-shooters.
Yes. Also true.
Which is why I think. True. I mean, I was trying to think of like who. What?
What do you think? What do you think Philly does from here?
I think Brett Brown is. I'm assuming, unless the series isn't over. I would be shocked. Nice.
I don't see how the Celtics don't win by more than 10 tonight. Like.
I was gonna say I would be pretty surprised if the Celtics didn't sweep. I think more if this series goes more than 5, I would be very surprised.
Yeah.
I think Philly comes to this offseason and says, all right, they've been publicly asking Ben Simmons to shoot for 2 seasons. Who knows how long behind the scenes they've been like, dude, you got to start shooting the basketball.
Probably since they drafted him. Be like, dude, at least shoot with the right hand, right? Like,
literally shoot with watching a slow motion shot of Ben Simmons, like with the camera on his hands, you're just like, all right, he's shooting righty, Nope, he's shooting like.
Nope, never mind.
Bro, I'm not a NBA shot coach.
I am.
I'm not going to pretend to be. You are, of course.
I am actually the guy that runs a lethal shooter on Instagram.
Matias, you are the guy who used to clap when he shot jumpers. I'm just going to put that out there.
Yeah, I used to clap you in basketball.
You also, true or false, did you used to clap your hands together when you shot jumpers?
False.
That's a lie.
False.
That's a bold-faced lie.
What would you do?
I'd trade Ben Simmons and get rid of Brett Brown.
No.
I think you trade Ben Simmons for – I mean, I'd have to spend some real time on the ESPN trade machine. I think you get back – I mean, maybe if you really want to get crazy here, you package Simmons and Horford together.
I don't know if anyone's really touching that contract. That's the only problem.
I mean, it's like I'm just kind of spitballing here.
Uh-huh.
Because, I mean, Horford and Embiid is not a good mix either. You going to play Horford and Embiid together?
No, it really hasn't worked out at all.
I mean, maybe it's 2 separate trades. You trade Simmons and then you trade Embiid and you trade Horford separately. I mean, you could also make the argument like, why the hell did they pick up Horford in the first place?
Fair enough. They just took the only guy who could stop Embiid, really.
I don't know. I think I would not envy.
I saw something interesting from our good friend Josh Eberly.
Him and Kirk hanging out.
Yeah. So trade between the Sixers and the Bulls, right?
I saw that.
Bulls get Joel Embiid, number 34.
I answered this poll, actually. I'm curious what you said.
They get Embiid, picks 34 and 36. And then the Sixers get 4th overall pick, Wendell Carter Jr., Zach LaVine, and Kobe White.
I think the Bulls I said the Bulls would say no. Philly says yes, the Bulls say no.
I put the same thing.
Yeah, I don't think – we'll talk NBA lottery in a little bit. I don't think – I'm honestly not terribly upset about the Knicks sliding back in the draft this year.
I mean, you should be upset, but if there's going to be any year –
because if I'm upset, that meant I expected something good to happen with the Knicks.
If there's any year that like you should be less upset about them not moving up, it's this year. That's fair.
Yeah, exactly. The stress of knowing that the Knicks would be like picking first in the most like confusing draft of the last 10 years.
Yeah.
And, like, 100% they would take the Anthony Bennett of the group.
Uh-huh.
Absolutely. They would take the guy who turns into the worst prospect.
There are some potential solid role players.
I don't want a role player first overall.
Yeah, not first overall, but I'm like it's rough. But
I'd rather take a role player at 8.
Yeah, fair.
I'd rather take a role player at 8. I want Obi Toppin, by the way.
I don't know if he's going to fall to 8.
I don't think he will.
The way he's been falling recently, it kind of has.
Who knows?
All right, let's move on to the next series. We'll hit Mavs Clippers playing Game 3 tonight. Look, I mean, there's no other way to put it.
Real interesting series.
The Mavs are one bogus ejection away from being up 2-0 on the title favorites.
I mean, yeah, realistically, that was probably the case. I mean, Porzingis was playing so well in Game 1.
Yeah.
And I mean, it was – I don't know if I'd say it was a bogus ejection.
I kind of was, man.
In the regular season, I don't think we're making nearly as big a deal about that. He had a tech already.
Yeah, but it's the playoffs.
It is the playoffs, but
I don't know if you eject someone for that in the playoffs.
It's kind of like the catch-22 is like, do you call it, wait, what do you mean? You call it differently in the playoffs versus it's the playoffs.
But everyone knows you call it. Everyone knows you call it differently in the playoffs. That's the only difference.
I'm not too mad about Porzingis getting ejected, personally.
I'm aware. But he's been balling out.
He's been playing really, really well. I mean, he's playing like the player that, we saw him. He honestly, to me, he looks kind of like, not quite rookie year Porzingis, but beginning of his second year where he was really comfortable on the floor and able to kind of realize what his limitations still were as an NBA player. I mean, there's a reason why people think Porzingis is going to be really good.
Yeah, right. He just needed someone to help generate the offense, which he just did not have in New York.
Well, no, the Knicks asked him to be the be all end all of their offense.
Yeah. He's like a 1B. He's like a 1B player, high level number 2.
Yeah.
I don't think he's not a 1B on a championship team by any means.
I think he's a 2 on a championship team.
I think potentially
in Dallas. I mean,
potentially.
I'd say Dallas very much has the makings, not yet, the makings in the future of a championship caliber team. I mean, Luka is.
Yeah.
Oh my
He's absurd. He's absurd. Second most points scored in your first 2 playoff games. Man is out
and just
of his
playing
mind.
at such it just doesn't make sense. He's 21.
I will never forgive the NBA for letting him go 3rd overall.
And we've had this conversation before. It's the Knox
makes no sense.
Taking an 18-year-old is a scary proposition. Was he 19 when he got drafted, or was he 18?
He was 18, I think. 19, doesn't matter.
No, 19, yeah, because he got drafted.
Okay, so he just finished his freshman season. He was 1 and done.
Unreal. Absolutely unreal.
But, there's a difference, man. You're doing that in the second best league in the world. You're winning EuroLeague MVP.
Didn't he win, postseason MVP as well?
Yeah. Anyone that's watching him is this guy needs to go number 1 overall. Right? He's so comfortable with the game.
It's bias. It's bias and just the NBA's overall comfort.
Yeah.
With the NCAA.
Yeah. Well, because people were oh, what if he becomes an Andrea Bargnani or Darko Milicic or someone like that?
There is a history of guys.
You're right. There's a
history of that.
The problem with that is that, if you're comparing Luka Doncic as a prospect to Bargnani and you're comparing him to Darko Milicic, you're smoking something.
No, yeah, it's a dumb. It's not a valid comparison in my opinion. In both of our opinions, I'd say, but it's easy to see why some scouts are oh, I don't know if I want that.
Hopefully it kind of pushes the tide.
The reality is there is a difference between dogging in the EuroLeague or one of those top second tier leagues and coming over to the NBA and being immediately successful.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't happen, except when your name is Luka Doncic. Although probably the wildest stat I've seen in a long time, the Mavs net rating is 2 points worse with Luka on the floor.
Well, it's because they went a lot of that was skewed.
Teeny tiny sample size.
Yeah, it was very skewed because, and this was a kind of a worrisome thing with the Clippers because the big thing about the Mavs, fantastic offense, clutch offense.
Miserable defense.
Awful. Bad defense and bad clutch offense. Fourth quarter, Luka Doncic has 5 fouls. He's on the bench, and the Mavs go on a run.
Well, for all of the greatness that Luka has and that he does on a nightly basis, he's also still in his second season in the NBA. He's still figuring things out. He doesn't get superstar treatment. We know it's a thing. Not yet, at least.
I think by next season he is.
I think so.
You think it's too early to call him a superstar?
No, it's not too early to call him superstar. I'm saying he doesn't get superstar treatment yet. He doesn't get the preferential treatment that the top tier guys of the league get from the refs, and it's a thing. We know it happens. We've seen it happen.
Yep.
I
guess that means Melo just was never a superstar.
No, they just hated Melo.
He also
Side note,
objectively wasn't a superstar.
That clutch 3 in Game 1 against the Lakers, you should have.
While also going 5 of 15.
He only hit 1 of 5 from 3, and it was the last one.
I think I saw a stat literally based on usage percentage and how many points a game. There's literally never been someone less effective than him.
Ouch.
Yeah.
I still love him.
I hate how we've really look, when Melo wasn't in the league, I had this conversation with Evan Roberts, who was in this, not WFAN Evan Roberts, a friend of mine, Evan Roberts, who was in the chat, big Knicks fan, huge Melo stan, saying, Melo should be in the league, this and that. I didn't disagree with him. I'm just saying Melo on a championship team, taking big shots, I just didn't see it. He's kind of proven me wrong.
Well, Melo clearly has kind of swallowed the pill of being a bench player at this point.
He's bought. I think the most encouraging thing from his time in Portland isn't that he can still play, because we knew that. It's can he buy in? He literally laughed at the prospect of him coming off the bench.
I think he needed the time away from the game to realize, wait,
Atlanta Hawk great
legend
Carmelo Anthony.
I think he needed that time away from the game to realize hey, I don't have it anymore. I'm not a starter in this league anymore. He got passed by. I remember I literally could probably find audio somewhere on my laptop of the original Second Floor Sports on VIC of us talking about, I think I've said this a million times. No player in the league got passed by harder than Carmelo Anthony.
Yeah, look,
when Melo got traded to the Knicks, he was a top 10, top 7 player in the league. The day he got traded to the Knicks he was a absolute worst case.
Probably top 10 player.
Probably top 10 player in the league. By the time he left, he wasn't even top 50.
Yeah.
He got absolutely blown by the rest of the league.
Yeah, I mean, his game didn't seem like it was going to adapt well, but he's played pretty solid on LeBron, and that's a topic we'll cover later. I just don't really look right with him.
We'll get into that. Let's wrap up this Clippers-Mavs series. I don't know what the hell Montrezl Harrell is doing. Montrezl Harrell is a good defender and is just leaving Maxi Kleber open from 3, daring him to shoot. I'm excuse me, I can read a box score and see that Maxi Kleber can shoot from 3.
Well, the problem that happens is you can't play drop coverage on Luka. He gets by the first screen, and look, one of the Clippers have depth, but one of their problems was, how good are their bigs, right? Harrell and Zubats are good enough, but against a guard,
also, you got to keep in mind that is not the type of question that precludes them from being a title favorite.
I know, but the issue becomes when you have shooting bigs like Porzingis and like Maxi Kleber, who are very good from beyond the arc. You can't play drop coverage. You got to play up, and then they just sneak right behind you. And they have good shooters on that team.
It's just confusing to watch because you look at this Clippers roster and you're like, oh my God, this is bar none the best roster in the league. It's not close.
Yeah. Roster-wise, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You look at their 1 through 9, and you're like, this is literally 2 legitimate starting 5s. And then it's
pretty rough second starting 5, but
they probably better than the Knicks starting 5.
Yeah, fair enough. Continue.
Seriously though, I mean,
no, yeah, fair.
Paul George needs to figure it out.
Yeah, man.
And it's just are the Clippers going to be? I can't imagine they're going to be bad next year. But is this year's Clippers team going to be one of those teams that maybe they squeak by the Mavs in 7, and then I don't have the tree pulled up, but then lose in the second round? Who would they play? Off the top of your head, they're the 2.
They're the number 2 seed, so they'd be playing the 4-5. No, they'd be playing the 3-6. They play Nuggets. They play Nuggets Jazz.
That either team, that's gonna be a real interesting series.
I think you match up if the Jazz win. I'm assuming they won today. When we went on, they were up by 30.
They were smoking them. Yeah.
End of the third. Oh, Oh, God. Final score, 124-87.
Wow.
Oh, that is a
I mean,
37-point win.
I think I was watching up to like the middle of the third quarter, and I don't even think the Nuggets had any of their starters in when I turned off the game.
Oh, God.
I mean, at a certain point, you just got to, at halftime, like they were up, what, 30 at the half?
No, they were up like 16 at the half. The Nuggets went on a little run to end the second quarter. They went on like an 8-0 run at one point.
Half. I don't know.
No, it was close at the half.
The point being, it's the type of game where if you're Mike Maloney, you're just like, all right, well, we didn't get this one, boys. Let's call it like.
All right, so let's finish up.
Yeah,
we're starting to seep into Nuggets Jazz, so let's finish up Mavs Clippers. I think I still like the Clippers. I picked the Clippers in 6.
Yeah, no, I'm still taking the Clippers.
Or in 5. 5 isn't probably going to happen. I don't see.
I think Clippers in 6. Lock that in. Clippers in 6.
Yeah, I still think Clippers in 6. No Pat Bev is a problem for them because I mean you look at defensively.
Well, he's still day to day, isn't he?
Yeah, but he didn't. I'm saying he didn't play last game. You think about Pat Beverly is a good defender, and then you take him
good
out.
Defender and a pest,
yeah,
the guy you don't want to be playing against in a 7-game series.
Yeah, like the kind of guy who's going to steal your Air Force Ones type of thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Like behind him defensively in the backcourt, like Lou Will, Reggie Jackson.
Okay, but in front of him, Kawhi Leonard and Paul George.
I understand. And at some
when
point,
Pat Bev is your third best defender on your team, you're in very good shape.
At some point, you got to just put Kawhi on Luka.
I think you have to. I mean,
literally make anyone else beat you.
I mean, look, it's a different team, different year, different scenario, obviously. But look at what happened in the Raptors-Bucks series last year. Giannis was cooking the first 2 games. Bucks were up 2-0. Nick Nurse put Kawhi on Giannis full time. Giannis is the type of player you can't lock down, completely shut down, but totally changed the series. Kawhi made obviously a significant impact on him. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's the type of question that I can't fully answer just because I don't know the intricacies of the Clippers help rotations. Mm-hmm. I mean, part of the reason you have guys like Kawhi, guys like Giannis, not necessarily defend the other team's top scorer if you can afford to. Mm-hmm. Is because they can essentially defend a whole zone if you have them playing help.
Yeah.
And in some instances that's more helpful than just defending one-on-one.
But with no Pat Bev, I don't know at what point tonight Doc Rivers doesn't just put literally either one of them on him.
I think tonight is the last night they go with whatever their strategy was going in. And obviously winner, depends on win or loss. Because the thing we got to remember here is if the Clippers figure it out, which I would say they haven't yet, they will blow the doors off the Mavs. No doubt in my mind about that. If the Clippers have it clicking, they're title favorites.
I picked them to win.
Yeah, I honestly I couldn't even tell you who I think is going to win the title right now. If I gun to my head, I'd probably still say the Clippers, but they don't look good against the Mavs.
They don't look good. They haven't looked good in the bubble. The Bucks haven't looked good either.
I think the thing about the Mavs too is as fun and as sexy and as a hot a pick the Mavs are right now, they're still a couple pieces away from being an elite NBA team.
No.
They need a couple more pieces, but they're playing really well against the best team in the league right now.
Yeah.
All right.
I agree.
Best series of the first round, Nuggets Jazz.
Can you even call it the best series of the first round though? I think.
Okay, let me rephrase that. My favorite series of the first round.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Changing the series score on our rundown. First of all, where's Bol Bol? I thought it was the TJ Warren and Bol Bol league. Bol Bol has played all of 4 minutes and
stop.
Dude, I was dying when people were just freaking out about Bol Bol during the seeding game. I was like, he's not going to see the
relax. He's literally he's 10th in the rotation. Relax.
He literally has played 4 total minutes in game 1, I think. Actually,
really?
He played today to be completely fit. Very possibly played.
He played. I think he played the last 2 minutes of game 2, and he probably played today because they lost by 37.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's just such a great matchup of a series.
Yeah, I think
and literally every way you look at every possible angle you can think of to compare these two teams, I'm looking at them damn, I don't know who I got here.
I picked the Nuggets in 6 to start because I thought the Nuggets could be decent enough defensively, and I didn't think the Jazz in their half-court defense could stop the Nuggets. The only problem is you don't really have to stop people if you're just going to turn them over every single time, right?
Well,
And like the Jazz are like, look, Gary Harris wasn't shooting well this season, but he's so good defensively. And you saw it especially today. Like, point of attack is where they were getting beat every time.
Especially against a guy like Donovan Mitchell,
it's so easy to like
95% of the league off the dribble. Like,
and Mike Conley, who's played well today, right? And
the Mike Conley return, I think, is possibly the X factor of the series.
It is possible.
We've seen it happen with Donovan Mitchell, where he gets tired. He gets tired and he gets predictable.
He literally has played 100% of his minutes up to today's game as the starting point guard. Everything was running through him.
I'm like,
and obviously, right? Because you think about someone like Jokic versus Gobert, like they're both good, but you can run your offense through Jokic. You're not going to run your offense through Gobert.
No, but Jokic isn't going to anchor your defense the way Gobert will.
Yeah. Jokic.
Not to discredit Jokic's defense. Let me make that perfectly clear. He's a
good defender, but he's been getting dogged this series. Let's be real here. Gobert has had himself a nice series.
Well, the thing that kind of sticks out to me from watching Rudy Gobert is he picks his battles so well, and he picks his spots to attack offensively and defensively so well. Mm-hmm. And like if you think of it as like a series of individual matchups, he wins those almost every time. Like he so rarely gets like caught out of position or caught in a position where he can't succeed, can't alter a shot, can't get the rebound. And it's like it's about pressing an advantage. And Gobert's like, all right, well, if you're gonna like switch a guard onto me, all right, I'm going to the post and getting 2 every single time.
Mm-hmm. And even beyond that, it doesn't matter what you run. Donovan Mitchell, his true shooting percentage of 80%, straight up shooting 62% going in today. That's absurd. 57 points in the first game, right? Like, I mean,
you called this his breakout playoff series. I mean,
because
is Donovan Mitchell not broken out at this point?
No, he is broken out, but is Donovan Mitchell a superstar? No. I still don't think it. No, stop that. Stop.
Is Donovan Mitchell a top 5 point guard in the league?
I don't think he's not a point guard. He plays shooting guard. I think he's. I think
we probably should have prepped a little bit more for this part.
I don't think he's a top 20 player in the league yet. Like, he's not a superstar.
I think he's borderline top 20.
Okay, borderline top 20. He's not top 20 though. Like, superstars are reserved for me for like the elite of the elite.
And we're talking semantics here.
Right.
Donovan Mitchell's a hell of a fucking player.
Yeah. Hell of a player, hell of a series. I'm saying his breakout playoff, like this is like he looks like someone now who can in the regular season average like 28 a game type thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's what I meant. He had already broken out. We know what Donovan Mitchell is, but also coming into this is just, a kind of middle of the line in terms of effectiveness ball handler who takes up the large majority of his team's offense.
Which, to be fair, is literally what they ask him to do.
Yeah.
He is
and he was
clearly the best creator on that team.
He was going to have a lot more to handle, a lot more on his plate with Bogdanovich not here and Conley not there to start the season.
I forget Bogdanovich isn't playing.
Bogdanovich, that's a huge part for them. And that's why, like, for the Nuggets, look, you're missing Will Barton. That's
which is
huge.
Honestly remarkable.
Yeah. You're missing Will Barton. You're missing, your best perimeter defender in Gary Harris, although his shooting wasn't there. But, like, there's no excuses for the Nuggets. Like, I get it. Like, the Jazz literally couldn't miss today, but, like, it was his baby food getting into the paint. Like, easy to look at Gobert and say that he dogged Jokic, but you watch that game and there was just the dribble penetration was just like there was no stopping.
The thing, like, if you're a Nuggets fan right now, I don't think you have any need to panic because the Nuggets are such a.
I don't know. I don't know.
Can I make my point?
No.
Cool. All right. See you guys. Mike Malone is an amazing coach. I think deserves more love in the Coach of the Year voting than he normally gets, especially for the way he's kind of readapted his offense to make Jokic the focal point of that offense, the focal point of the team. And look, the Nuggets were the 3 seed in the 3, right? Yeah. Nuggets were the 3 seed. They've been here before. They've been a top 3 team in the West for their 3rd straight season they made the playoffs.
I think second straight season they were top 3.
Point being, they've been to the playoffs. They've been a good team. They're not like one of like the upstart teams that's like never been in the situation before, never been up against the wall before. I've got a lot of faith in the Nuggets to kind of figure out what happened this game. Tonight, look at the tape. Tomorrow morning, look at the tape. Say like, all right, this pick and roll coverage got busted. Like, we can't go to this anymore. Whatever the case might be, I have a lot of faith in the Nuggets to figure out. And they also have so many different pieces off the bench that they can throw a completely new look at the Jazz in Game 4.
That's the problem, is that, like, with
But
Will
like
Barton
trusted
there,
pieces, not like rando, like off the street guys.
okay, but that's the problem. Like, who are these bench pieces? Because without Gary Harris and without Will Barton, like, Torrey Craig is starting, right? Torrey Craig is starting. Like,
You write it yourself. Play more and Michael Porter Jr., Jeremy Grant. Mix up their minutes.
But that's the problem. If you watch the game today, Michael Porter Jr. can't stop anyone. Like, he's a kind of, that's one of the issues with LaMelo coming into this draft, is that he has the length and he has the ability to be.
Stop you right there. Are you comparing LaMelo Ball and
No?
Michael Porter
I'm
Jr.?
comparing the fact that both of them have the ability to be good defenders. They have the length, but they have lapses sometimes, and that's something you see very often with young players.
I'm just very confused as to why your first reaction to Michael Porter Jr.'s defense was.
Because I've been thinking so much about LaMelo Ball and how I rank him as a prospect. That's why.
Okay, we'll get into that.
Jeremy Grant, much better defender, but Michael Porter Jr. is good offensively, but he can't do. He's a sieve defensively. Like he's literally a non-factor.
Have you seen Donovan Mitchell defensively?
What?
Have you seen Donovan Mitchell defensively?
What do you mean? Is he better than Donovan Mitchell defensively?
Have you seen Donovan Mitchell defensively? He's
trash. Okay, but he's better than Michael Porter Jr.
Look, are you panicking if you're the Nuggets right now?
I'm definitely not feeling good. I'm starting to panic.
This is like a worst case scenario game for the Nuggets, and I think you don't bank on that happening again.
They've gotten blown out back-to-back games. Got blown out back-to-back games. Last game, Donovan Mitchell was on the bench for the majority of it. In this game, it was just literally a complete team failure. Like, if I'm the Nuggets, like, I'm panicking a little bit.
I'm not panicking if I'm the Nuggets.
You don't have that many other pieces.
I mean, I feel like you're just kind of discrediting, like, the Nuggets' whole team right now.
I'm just, like, I'm thinking, like, who's going to step up for them type thing. Like, they have people that can step up, but the whole thing about the Nuggets, if everyone's healthy, is they have, like, a 7-8 man rotation. Without Will Barton and Gary Harris, like it's just not there.
We'll see what happens. I guess we're disagreeing here. Raptors Nets. All right, cool. Bucks Magic. Yeah. No, I mean Raptors Nets is
it's over.
Yeah.
Game 1, thought the Magic did a good job of Giannis. Game 2, not as much. Obviously, had a 20 game.
There's no reason the Magic should. Again, the only reason this series is a little bit more entertaining than Raptors Nets is because the Magic took Game 1. Yeah. Which
Chris Middleton scored 2 points last game.
Dude, I'm telling you, Chris Middleton makes me nervous.
I like Chris Middleton. This is not helping the brand at all.
No.
Not at all. I mean,
that's exactly what I was getting at the other week when you were talking about. It's like when Giannis has had 2 really good games. Chris Middleton hasn't needed to pick up a whole lot of slack. I mean, the Magic
could have used him in Game 1.
Although could have used him in Game 1, but I mean, the Magic, I think, caught him by surprise. Honestly, I think the Magic have the size to really frustrate Giannis. We've all seen the clips of every team playing Giannis in the playoffs, just literally lining 3 guys up in front of him. Like, okay, what are you gonna do?
Hilarious.
Chris Middleton needs to play a lot better. 2 minutes is not going to cut it for a guy who is not just supposed to be your number 2, is literally your number 2.
Yeah, undoubtedly your number 2. He's an all-star.
Yeah.
Averages over 20 points a game.
I'm not saying he doesn't deserve it. I'd say he is a deserved all-star.
I don't think I think at least, they have this series to figure it out. I think we see a Chris Middleton breakout game soon. Kind of break out of the slump.
30 points. 40 points. 30 points.
I'm thinking more like 8 or 9.
Okay.
This series is over in 5.
The term breakout, I guess.
Yeah. This series is over in 5.
Yeah.
There's no shot the Magic win another game.
I mean, the Bucks are just so good.
Too good. They have not looked good, though. They have not looked good in the bubble and now in the playoffs so far.
Well, I think
even
some
last
of it
game
is probably a little malaise, a little lackadaisical play because they're like, all right, we're playing 8 games against that don't matter, and they were playing the Magic round 1. Like, dude, because Bucks don't need to be playing at 100% right now.
No, they don't, but kind of have to at some point, right? Like, I obviously
probably, yeah.
Obviously, the Blazers are a much better team than the Magic if you're comparing 8 seeds. But like, I don't know, dude. They have not looked good. Like, they had to rely on the Magic literally not making consecutive buckets until like midway through the second quarter, which is
that's also the Magic. Like, what did you? I mean, what?
I understand,
what
but like they literally
for
couldn't make a shot. Is what I'm saying. Like
that?
the fact that you dropped a game to the Magic without Aaron Gordon, kind of a little frustrating.
Frustrating,
a little
but again,
embarrassing, a little
are you
worrisome.
really worried?
I'm not worried, but they're second in title odds. Like they should have gotten through this no problem.
I don't think there will be a problem.
I don't think so either anymore. But
exactly.
They got to play better. They got to prove it. Like even their game to win.
The Bucks
like,
at like 60-70% can beat the Magic in 5.
You're right, and I'm not saying they need to just pour out their entire playbook, but like something to just show that you're like the Lakers came out in one way. Like, we'll transition now into Lakers Blazers, right? Lakers won game 2, were awesome defensively. Most of the game, but especially in that second half, stepped up big. Anthony Davis remembered he was Anthony Davis, right?
Yep.
And
remember he was
Anthony
Davis after he looked like he really hurt his ankle for a second.
Yeah.
We were watching here. I was like worried. I was like, damn, like that looks like
he had ankle issues in the season. So.
I mean, well, he's always had issues with his feet and his ankles. And one thing our good friend Dr. Dravanos pointed out was his ankle rolled like the opposite way that an ankle normally rolls. It rolled out instead of rolling in.
Mm-hmm. That's a fracture. That's the easiest way to fracture your foot.
I mean, thankfully he didn't. He was fine.
He's in the chat. Maybe
he's definitely in the chat.
He might have just left. I don't know.
He better not have.
But what I'm saying is like the Lakers came out and played a lot better in game 2, right? And they, erased some of that doubt. Like I wasn't really, I don't know what that means, Stratton.
I think he means a version, which is, it's kind of concerning that I know how to spell that and he doesn't, but
yeah, whatever. Lakers silenced people. They were like, there's a reason we're the number 1 seed. And Ron did not play well.
No.
Like he doesn't look.
You want to talk about a guy who doesn't play his hardest the first round of the playoffs, maybe even the first round of the playoffs?
Fair, but you talk about like playoff LeBron and how he comes alive and goes into like 0 dark 30 or whatever mode he calls it, where he like deactivates his social media.
I don't think he even does that anymore.
No, he doesn't do it anymore. But like
he did used to do that.
Guy that like locks it in the playoffs and is just a force to be reckoned with more than in the regular season. Just looks passive. Like he had 11 points yesterday.
Well, I think something you got to consider is like everyone's still kind of working into game shape again.
Yeah.
3 months off is a lot of time.
You're right, but the difference, the problem with that excuse is that everyone's had the same amount of time to work back into game shape.
You're still got to get back into game shape.
But
get back into game shape, and we also, as we just said, we know LeBron doesn't take the first round seriously. LeBron has always half-assed the first round.
And that seems like excuses.
For me or for LeBron?
For him. It's an excuse.
Is it wrong?
It's not entirely correct. I think once the playoff comes around, he's just all over everyone.
I don't know.
So what, AD doesn't have to take it seriously because it's the first round? Like,
I think LeBron has earned the right to not take the first round too seriously.
What do you mean the right, man? It's the playoffs.
I mean, he's the GOAT. He's got
you think about the quicker you go through your first playoff series, the quicker you get to the second round and you have more rest, right?
Look,
like
maybe you're right. Maybe LeBron is just not taking this seriously. But like, let's also.
I'm not saying he's not taking it seriously. I'm just saying
he did just say he wasn't taking it.
No, you're the one that says he doesn't take it as seriously. I'm saying LeBron just does not look as aggressive as he has in the past. And I mean, look, he's 35. He's in his 17th season. We knew it was going to happen.
More mileage than anyone. I mean,
yeah. It starts to go. Oh, I don't know if you saw this this morning. I hate Kendrick Perkins. I think anyone.
Don't even bring this. I know exactly what you're talking about. Don't even bring this up. I'm not giving that man the airtime.
I'm going to bring it up.
No, please don't. I don't even want to mention it.
Just in case our listeners don't know, Ben.
Go for it.
Not everyone's as smart as you, all right? He said, and again, like, I love LeBron. I think he's easily one or two in NBA history. I think if he wins another ring, I think he's the best player of all time. Again, not the point we're trying to get at, but a good friend Kendrick Perkins was like, are
Our good friend.
Yeah, I'm friends with him.
You just said you hated him.
Yeah, but we're buddies. So he said that LeBron's 35. That that's kind of the excuse for him not like looking like his normal dominant self. And again, it's a high bar to be set. But he's like, Michael Jordan wasn't competing for rings at this age and all that. Yeah, Michael Jordan put down the Jazz in '98 with an injured Scottie Pippen at that age, and a lot less mileage, but that's a discussion for another time.
I can't believe you brought that up on this show.
I don't think Lakers really have another many issues. I think maybe the Blazers take one more game, but
I think the chaos theory guy in me, it wants Damian Lillard to just go God mode, like dislocated finger and all, put up like 50 next game, take another game, put the Lakers down 2-1. I mean, the Blazers are good, man. Like, they are not a bad team.
Their defense
isn't great. No, their defense is not
awful.
great. There's a reason they're the 8 seed. Like, I'm not here to tell you they're better than the Lakers.
True.
I think they match up in some interesting ways that can give the Lakers problems.
Mm-hmm. No, I mean, their best defenders are not in the backcourt.
Nope, absolutely not.
I mean, they would be if Avery Bradley was there.
You'd love bringing up these non-existent scenarios.
I'm saying the Lakers' one of their best defenders would be in the backcourt if he was there,
and is not.
You're right. So it's
You've
an
got
interesting
Dame
matchup.
and CJ going nuts against the scrubs that the Lakers play at guard.
Hey, watch your mouth.
You on the goat more slander on Danny Green
on the goat Caruso. Oh my God, Danny Green has been so bad this year. Like, I saw he was good with the Spurs. It was pretty good with the Raptors last season. But I saw this tweet. It was like, Danny Green is like the most inconsistent 38% three-point shooter I've ever seen in my life. I've never agreed more with a tweet in my life, I think. He gets just butchered by Lakers Twitter every single night, and it's hilarious. I love Danny Green, but it's hilarious.
But the point I was going to make there is, like, if Dame is going for like 45 a night, which is not outside of the realm of possibility, if CJ's playing as well as we know he can, and if they can just kind of like cobble together front court production, Nurkic is good.
Yeah, he's really good. I want him in a Spurs jersey.
You want another? Really?
Yeah.
Is he a free agent? Or are you just saying that?
Maybe after next season. Maybe this offseason.
Do you have any idea?
No, I don't. I just, in general, I'd like to see Yusuf Nurkic in a Spurs jersey.
Oh, all right. Let's.
So we put 45 minutes down for NBA.
We're at 53.
We're at 53 right now.
We put 45, and then we both were like, yeah, we're going to spend the whole hour talking about this.
I'm thinking, let's finish off this hour, because then we'll go off air with the playoffs. Touch on the lottery real quick, and then promise you folks we're going to finish at 7:30. Promise you that.
Absolutely.
We'll talk MLB in the next half hour, a little bit on college sports, and then obviously our favorite news segment. We're not going to spoil what the name of it is. We're really excited to talk about it.
All right. Heat Pacers.
Mm-hmm.
I want to fight. Like, I want to see
Who do you
a
want
brawl. I don't want to fight. I want to see the Heat and the Pacers fight, and I want it to be a mess. No, for all the like noise about this being like possibly the best series of the playoffs in terms of like the two, not necessarily like the best teams, but like the two like most dead, literally like even record, like dead even teams, the Heat have kind of been working them. That's makes sense. I think the Heat are the better team, but I just feel like the Pacers have looked very flat.
Their offense at the end of yesterday's game was terrible. They just don't have enough offensively in the half court as of right now.
And clearly, Oladipo is still getting
that's a problem. The Pacers get like
what did anyone really expect out of Oladipo, right? And
you expected him a little bit better. You thought maybe he has a little more time to rehab or something like that. But you have like 2018 Victor Oladipo, and like this is a series. But talk about how good Jimmy Butler is defensively. He's been playing well offensively. My boy Duncan Robinson. Someone else.
7 of 8 from 3.
Someone else I want in a Spurs jersey.
Yeah, really.
I would like to see Duncan Robinson in a Spurs jersey. I'll say it right now. But I think if you're a fan of any team, you want Duncan Robinson in a jersey. But The Heat are a good team. I don't think they cause too many ripples past this round. But like
the Heat honestly strike me as like a team that could truly make some noise against like a top seeded team. I think Jimmy Butler is in the perfect position for him, which kind of it's like it's not like I'm trying to think of the right analogy. It's like when Jimmy Butler is on a team where he can be like kind of just like a dick and like super aggressive and like not brash, I guess rude almost to his teammates. Like,
yeah,
he thrives. He literally said it himself, and I think I was reading it after game 2. He was like, "Yeah, when we go to practice, like when we're going out of practice, we curse each other out. I'll curse them out. They'll curse me out. Like it's all like competition and like the desire to get better, and that pushes Jimmy Butler to be the best Jimmy Butler we know. He's averaging like 25, 5 and 5, like 3 steals a game, a block and a half a game. Can't shoot threes apparently anymore, which is interesting.
I'm ready. I picked the Heat in 5. I don't think. I think the Pacers take one away.
I want to see Bam get going a little bit more.
That's going to be the thing next round when they face the Bucks.
Bam on Giannis was worked. I mean, they played twice, I think, this season.
Yeah.
And Bam was like the best defender against Giannis both games.
Bam, then you just kind of filter in Jimmy a little bit. I think the Bucks still are too good.
I would agree.
But
I think the Bucks have just too many other talented pieces that you can't like. You can't have Jimmy like freestyling and like coming in to help. I mean, if you're the Pacers, just like to try to like be optimistic from their end. I mean, I don't think you expect TJ Warren to put up 50, but like if he can find a little bit more consistency offensively, I don't know. They're gonna have to really pull something out of the hat here.
With no Sabonis, I mean, they're a completely different team. I mean, you talk about like you take away your all-star, one piece.
Take away your all-star and you're like your true like floor spacer. It's like not exactly like hard hitting analysis here from SFS, but like if you're arguably your best player all season is not playing for you, you're probably not gonna do well.
Yeah, no, and I mean it takes away such an aspect for them, like inside too, and he's a big part of what they do in the half court.
Both sides of the ball too. He's good.
Yeah, I mean there was no shot they were gonna. I never gave them a chance really. It's been a little bit disappointing.
I was a little more optimistic for the series. I thought it was gonna be a little more entertaining. I mean, maybe something will happen. Who knows?
Speaking of a series that was entertaining yesterday, but thought would be a lot closer than it has been till now. Rockets Thunder. Look, I mean, I read some analysis before the series started. I thought the Rockets would take it anyway, but like Chris Paul thrives in drop coverage on pick and rolls.
Exactly.
And, hurting bigs. You talk about someone like Rudy Gobert, he'll cook them. But then you talk about someone like Robert Covington,
PJ
Tucker, the second best corner shooter in the league. Like, it's hard. Like, there's so much switchability on that team, and it is so encouraging for the Rockets. Like, James Harden struggled big time last game. The team struggled in the first half. He sat down. I think they went on something like a 9-0 run to open up that third quarter, or like going into that fourth quarter. I mean,
look, for like as much as I'll sit here and like bash the Rockets because as a fan, I don't really enjoy watching them, and I don't think they're. I've said this a number of times on the show. I think I put them personally just a little bit outside that like true title contender range. They're a damn good team. They're a really good basketball team. And I talked about Rudy Gobert, like doing what he does really, really well and like picking and choosing his spots to attack really well. The Rockets know what they do and they get to that better than anyone in the league, in my opinion.
Problem for them is, they're in a series right now where Steven Adams is a good center, but is not a threat from outside the paint. When
they run into a big who can do something other than like just like catch the ball under the basket.
Next round, Anthony Davis.
Exactly. All right, we got 30 seconds left on this live. We're gonna quit out, set the live stream back up, and we will be right back here. Get right back in the live stream. We got a whole other half hour. We're gonna talk.
What are you guys doing on a Friday night at 7?
Nothing. Strat, I know you're not doing anything yet. Come on. Coming back, NBA lottery, the Knicks. Talk a little baseball, and then get to that new segment. It's gonna be crazy. Second Floor Sports. We'll be right back. Yo, what a wrap.
After this commercial break.
Yo, my phone gets so hot.
Yeah. Damn, bro. My phone's been nice. Like 20% taken out.
Still good?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, dude, Izzy fucking brought up, what's it called? Izzy brought up some dabs.
Good shit.
Lethal.
I thought she was moving to like Denver.
She is.
That's pretty sick.
Yeah, no, she's working fucking for Charles Schwab.
That's pretty dope.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
As of Us, episode 6, part 1.
I just need Boston to cover, man.
Playoffs.
I was flip-flopping between. I was like, I should take Utah to win this game. I should take them. And then I was like, you know what? Nuggets
Money
are
line,
gonna.
or what was it?
I mean, it's -1.
Wow.
Yeah. The only reason I took that over the money line was just because they had better odds there by like.
That is literally
15,
just fucking flip. Like
by like 15. But I was like, you know what? No, fuck it. I'm going to take the Nuggets. And that hasn't worked out well. But I made another one with just Toronto and Boston covering. So. Come on, Boston boys.
Yeah. All right. Let's try to move like quick-ish here. Maybe go like quick on the lottery.
Well, we'll just say that we're gonna do like a draft show. So, just
true.
quick takeaways. October.
Is there even a date for it yet?
No.
All right, let's get this live going again. I told you we'd be back. We're right here. NBA playoffs. We're gonna wrap it up. Little NBA lottery. Get to some Major League Baseball. Real interesting week for the league. And then we've just got another couple things we want to get to. Joe, glad you're back, as always. Matias Weilmann wants to be in my live video. I guess I'll let him in. I'll let him in. Where's he at, though?
I'm here.
Dang. All right, let's get right back into it. NBA lottery.
I really wish, I'll say, like, IG would just let you go a little longer.
Yeah, I feel like if you have like a pro account, you probably could do it. But if there's one thing we do here at Second Floor Sports,
it's not
spend money.
That's a fact. That's a fact.
All right, NBA lottery.
Take this one away, Ben.
Minnesota Timberwolves, Golden State Warriors, Charlotte Hornets, Chicago Bulls. The Knicks moved from 6th, which was their worst, was a record, down to 8th. I mean, this is such a strange draft class. Like, you almost didn't want to win the lottery, in all honesty.
I don't know. It's still a pretty good problem to have.
I mean, it's a good problem to have, but like it's as unclear as any class in the last 10 years, I would say.
Yeah. I mean, you think about like last 2 years, like very clear cut number 1 overall, right? Like Zion last year and then Luka the year before. Oh, wait. I mean,
the crazy thing is, like, if you look at like the top 3, look at like Zion, Ja, RJ Barrett, I'd say all 3 of those guys go 1, 2, 3 again this year. You're taking Zion first. You're taking LaMelo over any of those 3?
No.
Taking Anthony Edwards over any of those 3?
No.
Exactly.
It's not top heavy, but I've been reading a little bit of some breakdown from Kevin O'Connor. It's just like there is potential for role players. Like it's kind of hard once you get out of that like top 3 because James Wiseman could be really good.
Wiseman's a huge question mark, though.
Yeah, he's a huge question mark. I
don't know. It's like it's kind of a weird comparison to make, but it's like almost similar to Mitchell Robinson. Super talented, super athletic big man. I'd say Wiseman is more polished than Robinson.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
But you have no college tape on James Wiseman.
Yeah.
None. Or you played like the first half of that one game?
He played like 6. I think he played like a total of like 4 or 5 games.
You basically have no college tape on Wiseman. You're looking at his high school tape and what you see in scouting reports and workouts.
And they're gonna have virtual combines, but like it's not gonna be the same.
But also, what is the the combine is kind of, is it really the most important factor in determining who you're going to pick?
I don't know. I mean,
it's nice to confirm what you see on tape at the combine.
Yeah,
but it's not within. It's same with the NFL. Like, it's not and I wouldn't say the same with the NFL. The NFL is a little bit different because a guy can run like a 4.22 and then all of a sudden he's a first rounder.
You're like, oh damn, yeah.
Yeah.
Or you do terribly in cone drills like DK Metcalf, and then
different story. Well, I could talk NFL Combine all day long.
I don't want to. So
exactly, that's what I'm saying. Let's get back to the NBA.
Yeah.
It's just such a mishmash. I feel like of players in the top 8, top 10. I mean, you've got LaMelo and Anthony Edwards. I'd say are probably the top 2 guys in the class.
Mm-hmm.
But it really, everything I've read is it depends on the day and it depends on who you ask.
I mean, it's gonna be whoever fits on the team better too. Like I saw Anthony Edwards, they were saying projects to fit better with the T-Wolves. Obviously they're not going to take Weissman. They don't need a big.
No. But also LaMelo doesn't make any sense for the Wolves either.
No, I don't think. I don't. Oh my God! Could you imagine how bad that backcourt would be? LaMelo and D'Angelo Russell. There literally, lead points.
It wouldn't happen.
And then you have, not the best big defender in Cat behind you.
But then it's like if you take Anthony Edwards in Minnesota, then he's a guy who needs the ball in his hands to be successful, and you've already got 2 guys who need the ball in D'Angelo Russell and Cat.
Yeah.
So what do you do, Denny Avdija?
Dude, he's nice.
He's nice, but
But that's the thing though, is that
is he worth the number 1 overall pick? Nice.
Well, no, not at all. But you talk about Obi's going to go before him. LaMelo's going to go before him, and Edwards easily. It's really just comes down to fit. I'm interested to see. I'm assuming that the Warriors are not going to keep their second pick. I don't think they will.
Maybe
unless they're in love. Unless they are in love with Weissman,
that's. I think that is literally the only way. Because Weissman's the only guy that makes. Toppin kind of makes sense.
Not really.
I mean, the Warriors
always a rim running forward. I don't like that.
Who's the Warriors front court right now other than Draymond?
Well, no one. But you talk if they want to stay super small, I guess. But I'd rather have someone like Weissman who you can eventually work into somewhat developing a 3-point shot.
I don't know if I like Weissman, honestly.
Well, I think not a lot of tape on him.
I got to do more scouting on the whole NBA draft. Everything I've read, just surface level, it's LaMelo Ball, James Wiseman, Anthony Edwards are the top 3.
Yeah.
LaMelo's issues defensively, lots of that's not up for debate. LaMelo has a lot of
can't really
grow defensively,
and can't really shoot.
No. That's an ugly-looking jumper.
The thing with LaMelo, though, and this is the point I was making earlier with MPJ, right? He has the tools physically to be good defensively. He's long, and he has pretty good instincts in reading passes. The thing is, sometimes he's
it seems like he's more interested in reading passes, just for the steal and the run out than it is necessarily because it's the right rotation to shoot the gap.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. LaMelo doesn't impress me at all, personally.
No. I like
also
him.
If you're drafting LaMelo, you're bringing noise. You're bringing a whole media circus with it.
Yeah.
I think we've kind of grown numb to that because LaMelo's been playing in Australia and Lithuania and has now been training for a year.
Mm-hmm.
You think LeVar Ball is going to be real quiet when LaMelo and Lonzo are both in the league again?
I just hope. I hope the Hornets draft him because you remember LeVar saying that he could beat Michael Jordan 1-on-1 and that LaMelo is going to be the equal to Michael Jordan talent-wise. Yeah,
right.
That's why. I think I'm not ready to give up on this draft class. I think it's just going to be a very plain type thing. I don't know. Yeah. There's not a lot of superstar. I don't know if I'll say not a lot of superstar potential because LaMelo certainly has superstar.
Not a lot of superstar potential, but it's really
yeah.
It seems like an absolute best case scenario. Yeah. He becomes his best case self.
I think that. I think you're underrating between that 8 and 15, Nesmith, Vassell,
Devin Vassell.
Yeah, Okungwu, I think is how you pronounce it. The guy from
USC.
From USC, and Killian Hayes. I think I read one where they had Killian Hayes going to the Knicks.
I've seen that. I've seen Cole Anthony going to the Knicks.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's just kind of like because his dad played, but I don't know.
Well, we're gonna have our own like draft.
We'll have a whole probably multiple draft shows.
Yeah. Before we finish with the draft lottery, just last point. I'm not a huge NHL guy, but I love that the way they structure it, that they just put the ping pong balls there, just shuffle them up, whatever shoots up. It's more exciting.
The Rangers, I'll take it.
I'm a big Islanders guy now.
You tell Josh that.
What?
You tell Josh.
Yeah. Capitals suck. I like.
Who do you think could name more players on the Capitals, you or Josh?
For sure, Josh. I can name 2.
I don't even know why I asked that. I said that question. I was like, that's pointless.
I want them to do like the ping pong ball type thing in the NBA. I think it'd be more exciting.
All right.
Moving on to baseball.
Major League Baseball.
Rough week.
Yeah.
Rough week for baseball.
The whole Tom Brenneman issue. I mean, there's nothing to say really. I mean, that's just like.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
A lot of people just like, you got to be careful with the hot mic and all this and all that. Yeah. But yeah. That's what I was
getting. When like you and I are calling a game and I'm like, damn, dude, I really got to take a leak. Like that's embarrassing. And like
you've said it worse. You've said a lot worse.
Yeah, probably.
But not
a slur.
Homophobic slurs. Like it's unbelievable, man.
It's just like there's not, and it's just like, people are like bashing him about just like, doing like calling the Castellanos home run.
Oh my God.
Of all the things that you can bash him for, like, what do you do? Like, what do you do in that situation where you realize you just like dropped that on national TV and you're just like, like your producer is probably blowing up in your headset.
That might be the funniest thing that happened this year.
I don't know if I'd say funniest.
The home run, not the situation. This man just giving like a potentially career-ending type apology, which is, let's be real, it was a shitty apology too. Like literally,
it was shitty. I mean, it was like
the people he offended, he put last when he apologized.
That's true.
Like
at the very least, you knew it was like from the heart. It was like sincere. He wasn't. Honestly, I'd rather an apology like that than like some bullshit like I'm very sorry for my remarks and I apologize. Like him just like reading off a sheet that the club provided. Like, I mean, I'd rather him not say it in the first place. But
yeah, that too. Him just being like, I think of myself as a man of faith, and this is a deep fly ball, and this one will be gone. A home run for Castellanos, and that'll make it 4-0. I don't know if I'll ever put this headset back on.
I mean, look,
that's rough, man. It's rough.
He's either going to be suspended for a long time, or he's.
I don't think I think they've already said he doesn't call a game again this season, and then after that, who knows? Because he also does football. So.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's where I recognized him from. Actually, I heard his voice, like on tape, and I was like, why? I was like, it sounded super familiar, but then I was like, why on earth would I recognize the Reds like regional Fox Sports Network announcer? Like, why would I ever recognize his voice? Mm-hmm. And then it's because he does NFL games on Fox.
That would explain it.
All right. Padres Rangers. Wow. Series of the year. I think I'll lock that in right now.
I mean, there haven't been that many series that have gone without a hitch, right? Like,
I mean, yeah, but like even in a normal season, I mean, start from the beginning. Tatis swinging 3-0, hits a grand slam. They're already up 7-3.
They're up 10-3. They're up 10-3.
10-3, yeah, sorry. It was up 7-3 in the second game when they hit a grand slam, I believe. Yeah. Look, I've heard of the don't swing 3-0 rule, quote unquote rule. I mean, it's just dumb. Like this is professional sports.
So stupid, man. Like
really, and the funniest part is like the Rangers like a week prior came back from down like 4 or 5, I think, in the 8th, and their manager was like, yeah, we always hard at bats late in games. We're grinding out. We're always trying to scratch another run across. I'm like, okay, so you don't care when the other team like continues to try to score more runs?
Unbearable. It's honestly unbearable. I can tell you that from a team, like rooting from a team that basically in the last 5-6 years has not had a functional bullpen and it has blown 7-run leads. Yeah, any of it. Has blown 7-run leads in its 9th inning alone before, like multiple times. Like, why would you not pounce on everything? And like,
the game's never over. Like,
Here's the thing, like
you play to win. Like you don't play to make it close. You play to win the game.
What is like Fernando Tatis Jr. supposed to just be like, all right, you know what? We're up big. It's 3-0 count. I just got to watch the next 3 pitches zip by me. No, like the hell, he had 3 pitches before that to get in the zone.
The basis of the rule is like, I mean, there is some merit if like a guy like literally can't find the zone. Like you don't want to swing 3-0 because you don't want to swing at garbage and just like give away a pitch.
Okay, but there's a difference. There's a difference between should you swing 3-0 and is it disrespectful, right? Because I'm assuming you have not watched many Marlins Mets games this season.
No.
There have been 3 situations where Jonathan VR was at the plate. There was at least 1 runner on in scoring position. It was a 3-0 count, and he swung all 3 times, and all 3 times he ended up getting out. Like,
and that's where it looks really bad because then
right. But
the whole idea is like, all right, even if you take a strike 3-0, you're still looking at a 3-1 count, and then like
we need to make the distinguish. Like we need to distinguish between should you swing 3-0, like is it smart, and like is it disrespectful? Because it's not
disrespectful to be offended by it.
Like, right. Like, but what is he supposed to?
Professional athlete, and you're offended because another team scored. Like start smoking you, like
what is he like? Genuinely, what is he supposed to do, right? Because you think about like you're Fernando Tatis Jr. You go into like contract negotiations, right? And you're getting compared to the other players at your position, and they're like, all right, well, he has 1 less home run and 4 less RBIs. He struck out this time.
By the way,
whatever.
He has the most home runs in the league currently.
Okay, I know, but I'm saying down the line, like, what do you like? Why? If the pitcher can't find the zone, right? Game is still going on. Why should you give up? Like, it's so stupid.
Well, like the unbelievably like frustrating thing to me is then his manager comes out and is like, "Yeah, we're gonna."
Yeah, that's rough, dude. Like, how are you not going to defend your own players?
Like it's a little confusing because like you'd say like, well, how are you not going to defend your own players? But then him and Eric Hosmer. Did you see the John Boy breakdown?
No, I don't watch.
You gotta watch. No, wow, you're missing out there, bro.
Yeah, I'm a rebel.
Just for the lip reading. Like the lip reading provides so much context.
I do watch.
And there's a shot of Hosmer like dead on, looking at Hosmer's face. You can see what he's saying. He's like saying, "We'll talk to him. We'll talk to him." Like looking at the Rangers bench. Hosmer's a vet. Like Hosmer's been around the game. He's a World Series champion. Like he knows the game. And so like, I guess it's not the most absurd of the unwritten rules because like his manager Hosmer, some of the other guys are kind of like, yeah, maybe you shouldn't have done that.
Like
it's just stupid. And like you're gonna have the whole like let the kids play campaign.
Yeah.
Okay, let them play.
What was it? Was it the 6th inning, 7th inning?
Tatis?
Yeah.
No, it was the 9th.
It was the 9th?
Yeah.
Okay. So I guess comparison wise, it's an NBA game being down 7 isn't insurmountable, very clearly. That's like being down 20.
Really compare.
Okay, but it's like being down.
Like
20.
It's when like Marcus Morris shoved Jay Crowder when he jacked a 3 up. Like, and that was truly disrespect because at that point the game is literally over.
Yeah, this game isn't over, and like you're right. I'm trying to compare it to the NBA, but the difference is like there's a shot clock, right? So time matters. Eventually, time's gonna run out. In the MLB, like
game's not over until there's 3 out. Like it's not over.
There's 3 outs. Like you're done. You're done. But until then, like game's still alive. Like I think it's absolutely absurd. Like
don't give up a home run. Don't load the bases. Don't go down 3-0, and then don't give up a grand slam.
Don't know what to tell you, man.
Well, it's like there was a clip that I always pops up on my YouTube. It's like Max Muncy took, I think it was Bumgarner deep one time, and he like pimped it. Like and he had a bomb into the bay in San Fran, and Bumgarner was like chasing, literally chasing, but like barking at him as he went on the bases. And Muncy's like, "What are you looking like? I took you deep. Like you don't get to talk to me."
Yeah, right. Like,
well, if you're playing, all right, you want a basketball analogy? Like if you're playing pickup all game and like someone's like talking and talking and talking, and then you like drain the game winner in their eye, like they don't get to talk to you anymore. Like
no, it's over.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah. Like it's so stupid. Like the MLB can't get out of their own way. No. Like you have literally the most exciting young player, probably the most exciting player in general. And
currently last week, yeah.
Yeah. And you just shout out the Padres too. The slam Diego Padres for hitting a grand slam in 4 straight games. That's absurd.
See, sometimes like as aspiring broadcasters, I'll be listening to guys and be like, damn, like that was a great call. Like that was super creative, super clever. And then I'm like, that guy really said the Slam Diego Padres.
I love it. I
I
love
love it. It's great. It's just funny because it's like it's literally like the simplest, like
he's so
easiest thing to
good.
come up
He's
with.
so
It's
good.
great.
I love half my mentions just being like
So
Red
that's
Sox
two
fans.
mentions.
Red Sox
because
fans.
I've got a huge all my mentions.
I didn't mean to say mentions. I meant to say just
all
like my feed.
mentions. Yeah, all the people coming at me on my Twitter. Oh.
I meant to say my feed. It's like everyone, like all the Red Sox fans, because he used to broadcast for the Red Sox, being like, enjoy him. I'm glad you all see how good of a broadcaster he is. Just like actually butthurt.
Yeah.
I saw you had liked something. Did you watch the clip of the SNY booth talking about it?
Like 45 seconds of it, like not much.
So, Ron Darling,
Also,
Gary Cohen, Gary Cohen and Keith Hernandez talking about it. Keith literally was just like, you can't do it. It's disrespectful. And then couldn't come up with a reason why. He just kept saying it's an unwritten rule. And they were challenging him on it. I just think it's literally like it's a clash of just old and new, and get out with the old in with the new. Like,
it's just, and baseball is such like an old sport. There's a lot of like old heads, a lot of old thinking. Let the kids
play, dude.
Let the kids play. Let the dogs eat. Let the kids play.
Yeah, let the dogs eat. All right. Most exciting segment we're getting to.
Oh, are we just gonna skip over the Yankees? That's fine.
Yeah, fuck the Yankees.
Bro, what do you mean fuck the Yankees?
Just saying. They suck.
I said cut the other thing, not the Yankees. Get the fuck out of here.
Yankees suck.
Scumbag. All right. For the record, I literally wrote in the rundown, let's cut this other section we're gonna get to.
Okay.
All right, let's get to the mailbag. We've been talking about it the whole show. We got 5 minutes left. So if you guys follow us on Instagram, which I hope you do, if you're on this live stream at Second Floor Sports on Instagram, looking at YouTube. We post a couple days before the show, post some stuff on our story, invite you guys to send in your questions. Our first one here is LaMelo Ball going to be a bust? I say yes.
I say no. Is he going to live up to the number 1 overall pick? Probably not, but I'm not ready to call him a bust.
I also don't know if he's going to be the number 1 overall pick.
Top 3 pick then.
Top 3 pick, but we said, there's really not a lot. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense for Minnesota to take LaMelo.
Yeah. Like, can LaMelo be as good as RJ Barrett? Yes, but then can he be? Oh, I froze there. Can LaMelo be as good as RJ Barrett? Yes. Can he be as good as Jason Tatum? Don't think so.
Interesting.
Just talking about like potential levels of skill.
Okay. Next item in the mailbag: Breanna Stewart or Asia Wilson? Talk a little WNBA. I got my answer.
Asia Wilson.
Breanna Stewart.
I'm right though.
They're putting up the same numbers. They're both like 18, 19 points a game, 8 boards.
I love Vegas though.
Asia Wilson doesn't shoot. She doesn't shoot threes. Breanna Stewart's shooting she only shoots like 4 a game, but she's shooting like 42%.
It's literally just about results at that point. Like,
I'm talking about a better player though.
Yeah, but I like a better player on a better team.
I like a better player who can shoot threes and put up the same numbers.
I guess.
And literally, it's like same numbers.
I know. It's literally like 2 of the top 5 players in the league, probably.
Yeah. All right. This is an interesting one. Would you rather your favorite team win a chip in any sport, win a chip this year with Corona and everything, or wait 10 years for them to win a chip? I think there's a little bit more. It's like you got to unpack it a little bit.
I don't mind.
Is it fair or not? Whatever teams win titles this year are going to have some sort of like, well, they won in the COVID year. Like, it's always going to be a little bit different.
Yes, but I think in the MLB, when you consider everything like most teams have had to overcome, like it does add it adds a good amount of I want to say it takes away from the asterisk, right? Before the season started, we were like, yeah, there's going to be a very clear asterisk on it because it's 60 games in the season. And I don't think it really should be weighed in the same way in the fans' eyes, but it's not going to be just like a mean nothing tournament or a mean nothing crown.
I don't know how you can say I'd rather my team I'd rather wait another 10 years for a title.
Yeah.
A title's a title.
Yeah.
Again, everyone's playing the same season. Everyone's playing with the same rules.
Yeah.
Look, 29, 30 other teams didn't win the chip. Okay. Sorry.
I don't know. I don't know if someone like the White Sox, who, to my knowledge, haven't had anyone that has opted out or is missing because of COVID. Right. I
White
just picked the
Sox
team.
radar is
Yeah. Right. But
down,
then like
unfortunately.
for them, maybe it's the same thing. But then you look at someone like say the Marlins were to win the World Series. Like I
Led by
don't
Ace Sixto Sanchez, best name in the league.
I don't put an asterisk on that at that point. Right. And like this, we talked about this before the season. We were like, we're not going to know what sort of asterisk we can put on it until after the season. Because like, Yankees don't really have – do you guys have opt-outs? Anyone really opt out?
I don't think so.
So no real like COVID issues, right?
No one huge, no.
Yeah, no COVID issues. Like a Mets World Series win and a Yankees World Series win is a little different because the Mets are, missing their number 3 starter. And not even that is a –
The Mets would also be missing their number 3 starter in a normal season.
No.
Yeah.
Stroman would have been back.
He would have gotten hurt. It's the Mets.
Okay.
Am I wrong?
Anyways, top 3 favorite fruits. We got.
Bro, whoa.
We need to address this. We'll go back. I promise.
You just skipped the best part of the best mail in the bag, bro.
Oh my god, this literally applies to one person watching.
It applies to like 7 people.
Yeah, fair enough.
Has Jordan Shem had a chance to make plays?
I don't know. I've literally never spoken to Jordan Shem in my life. I don't think that's ever going to change.
That's probably not true. Actually, no. I don't know if we ever interviewed him.
We did halftime that year.
I know. I'm saying like we went to practice a couple times.
Yeah.
I don't know. We probably interviewed like Kenny Bradley every time.
Yeah.
Well, obviously Jordan Shem has had a chance to make plays.
Yeah, of course.
If
you don't get that, don't worry.
Don't worry about it. It just had to be in there. This is a really one for you. Do you want A-Rod to buy the Mets?
Steve Cohen, in like a vacuum would be better because he has more money, but I don't trust Steve Cohen. Like
so
guys I'd rather A-Rod, honestly. Get a minority owner in there, like someone, is a New York guy. Like, look, the thought about an ex-Yankee owning the Mets hurts me, but
I think it's great.
A New York guy,
a New York sports icon, like realistically icon,
right? Like a minority owner,
like not some random rich ownership group, like not the Wilpons. Like
Steve Cohen already has like a part of the Mets, but like this man is under like multiple lawsuits throughout the years for like discrimination against women, like tax evasion, like insider trading type thing. Like
sounds like
the Mets, man.
Exactly who's going to end up buying the Mets, if you ask me.
Steve Cohen's probably going to buy the Mets. He's the favorite. It's his to lose, is what all the indications are.
Yeah. All right. Steve Durr asked me, are the Yankees in panic mode? Yeah, I'm in panic mode. We have every reason to be in panic mode. We just lost.
They're all on the 10-day
division rival, and our best players are all hurt. Yes, we're in panic mode.
They're all on the 10-day DL. I think on the IL. I think it's a little early to be in full panic mode.
I'm in panic mode.
Okay.
All right.
Well,
last bit. You take the lead. 3 favorite fruits.
3 favorite fruits.
I deliberately kept mine off here. I'm gonna shock some people.
Mango, avocado, apple.
Okay.
There were a couple of them fighting in, like shout out peach, shout out apricot.
Yeah, okay.
And like shout out plum, right? Like those are big, but like apple, it's got to be a go-to. Mango, objectively my favorite fruit, and avocado slaps.
All right.
Easy for me.
You mentioned one of mine, plums. This is in no particular order, by the way.
Okay, yeah. Neither were mine.
Plums. Grapefruits.
Ooh.
With or without sugar. I'll eat a grapefruit raw, no problem.
Okay, but which one? Which do you prefer?
Depends. Literally depends. It depends if I want like sweet or if I just want tangy.
Gun to your head right now.
No sugar.
Okay.
And pomegranates.
Wow.
I love pomegranates.
Wow. Going deep in the bag. Okay. I don't love pomegranates, but I don't hate them.
Wait, you got to answer the people here. You got to answer the people.
What kind of apple? I've never been good with like apple types. Just like
you don't have like your
apple.
go-to like apple?
No, I just buy apples and I eat them.
Fiji, bro. Like, what? A Fiji apple is perfection.
What's just like a nice red apple?
Probably Red Delicious.
Okay.
Never been apple picking, bro? Like, you don't see the little signs on the trees?
Literally never been apple picking before.
You've never been apple picking?
No, I hate happiness.
You've been to Apple Fest.
Okay, and there aren't trees with
It's like the same deal. You guys got hella apples with like signs and shit.
I don't pay attention, dude. I just buy it and just like eat it.
Joe, get out of here with that. Come on. Cortland apple.
All right, I think that's
all right. That's all we got.
That's a good spot to end on. Thank you to the 3 viewers we have right now. We did reach a pretty good.
We got like we were like chilling at 6 for a minute.
Yeah, I think we even got up to 8 at one point.
Double digits next time.
Thank you.
I wonder if my whistles are gonna show up like on the audio, or if it's just gonna sound awful.
It's probably just like a peak, just shaking.
Break something.
Thank you everyone watching on our Instagram, or if you're watching on our YouTube, thanks so much. We'll have a show next week. Make sure you watch my interview with Frank Rossi that I did. It was a very good interview. Cool. He's big in the D3 world and it just gave a lot of insight on what the real issues are in D1 and, kind of how we got here. We'll have an interview hopefully up next week as well. Till then.
Signing off. See ya.
Peace out.